Good morning, everybody. Need to pause my Dropbox. I think we're good. Yeah, close out all this stuff. Goodbye. Cool. So, good morning, folks. Hello, Neilk. How are you this morning, Neilk? That was fast, by the way. That's good. Morning, Vlansix. Y'all know Vlansix. Alex. Maybe I shouldn't tell everybody your real name, Alex. I'm not sure. Sorry. Hey, Shavat. Hey, James. Michael. K-Money. Dave. Robert. Andre. Quad. Wayne. Greetings program. Okay. I will, Wayne, I promise. Hey, Phobus. Lewis. Tech Tips. McTurbo. Hello to the UK. 404. Oi! Aaron? Michael? I'll show you in a second, Jade. Hey, Phil. Reference to Tron. Ah, I see. Hey, Retro. Nigel. Happy Monday. Daniel. Couldn't access Twitch due to proxy. Yep. We've heard that before. Hi, Mark. Izilza Baby. What's up? Dave, I have not gotten a chance to look at your theme yet, and I'm sorry. I'm way behind on the forums because of last week being at family camp. So forgive me there. But I do plan to get caught up on the forums this afternoon, and it's going to take me a while because I've got a bunch of stuff to catch up on. Thank you, Retro. Hey, Stifilus. Hey, Sid. Great mechanical keyboard. Yes, I have the DOS keyboard, the latest one, the version 3 or whatever, and I love it. With the Cherry MX Blues. Well, that's good, Jade. At least you got a week hanging out with folks. I know what you mean about that. Coptane. When new database options have many games without box videos, carts, please. Well, I'm not sure what exactly new database options you're looking for, but we have Lansix, who is on the stream, by the way. He's working his butt off. He really is. He's coming up with new stuff for the database constantly. So I'm sure whatever you're looking for, we'll get it in there soon. Hey, Ultimate. Awesome tech tips. Ice Baby. Oh, there it is. There it is. Ice Baby. I can say that a little bit easier. Goodness. Yeah, I'll definitely be taking a look at all the direct messages on the forums. I'm sorry, I know it's been way longer than usual on that. And it's because I was gone all last week at family camp, so I'm way behind on that stuff. So, thank you, Martin. Yeah, let Vlansix know what you want added to the games database on the issue tracker. Absolutely. What is my favorite retro game? Dang, that's hard. That's really, really hard. And I have come up with a bunch of answers to that question over the years. But let me start with my favorite retro platform, and that's actually MS-DOS, because that's what I grew up with. So, if I had to pick a game right now, I'd probably say Wolfenstein 3D. Stop in the name of love. Is it normal that you can only get 10 entries maximum? You talking about the giveaway? Yeah, on the giveaway. Yeah, that's normal. Top 10 retro games in no specific order instead. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna go into that much detail right now. But anyways, believe it or not, guys, I am not believe it or not, I'm not like a retro gaming expert. I'm not like one of those YouTubers out there that has played every single retro game, and yeah, I don't know. Although I love retro gaming, obviously, it's huge for me. I'm just not really that much of an expert. Favorite retro system? My favorite latest new favorite game would definitely have to be Breath of the Wild. That was my favorite game that I played recently. Also, on the topic of the giveaway, does your name matter? I found that when I created a Gleam account, I named myself Bob Marley. It kind of does matter, yeah, because that's the name we're going to use on the license when we send out the free licenses. So, kind of matters, but we can probably get that changed if you win, TJ. Breath of the Wild MS-DOS edition. There you go. Yeah, you can upgrade it at any time. Super Cure. Yes, you can upgrade at any time. There's no limitation. So once you buy the $20 license, you're free to upgrade at any point to the Forever Updates license for $30. ZZT. I've heard of that game, but that wasn't a game I ever played. Ah, no. Trolls. Okay. We're going to need some Twitch moderators here. So there you go, Vlansix. Let me ban Alahiski, whatever that stupid name means. Okay, Vlansix, how do I mod you, man? Let's see. You have added Vlansix as a moderator of this room. Mod DJ Quad. All right. So, for anybody who wasn't here on the last stream last week, we had a bunch of issues. Yeah, and here we are again. I don't know what we're gonna do about all these freaking trolls. So we're gonna need some moderators over on YouTube as well. We are again. More incoming. I don't know what we're gonna do about all these freaking trolls. Let me turn this off. Okay, so we already have moderators over on YouTube, which is good. Anyways, I'm just gonna let you guys mod it, It's gonna be difficult if it gets bad. Forgive me, guys. 'Cause it's gonna be difficult to read through all the comments. But you know, we'll do what we can. I don't want to just end the stream because of the trolls, so just keep going. Moderation bots. Okay, Sid, so how do I get some moderation bots in here? Nightbot. Nightbot. Chatbot for Twitch and YouTube. It allows you to automate your live streams chat with moderation and new features, allowing you to spend more time entertaining your viewers. Okay, sure. Can I do it while we're going here? Join channel. Ensure that you have modded Nightbot in the channel. Okay. Go to your Twitch channel and type mod Nightbot. So real quick, I'm just trying to add this so that we can. Okay. And spam protection. Looks like spam protection is enabled. So we'll see what happens. Although I think that's only Twitch. I need to add YouTube in here. Blacklist words, phrases. Okay, almost there, guys. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to get YouTube in here as well. Allow. Spam protection. All right. So hopefully that will help. I just added Nightbot to both YouTube and Twitch. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm not sure if I can catch up on these comments or not, guys. Let's see. These emulators that LaunchBox suggests, do you consider these to be the best? Honestly, the emulator list in LaunchBox could use an overhaul. We could get them updated. So not necessarily. Generally, when we look at adding the default emulators, we try and choose the easy ones, you know, but they're not necessarily the best ones. Mental, is .NET the main factor for not having a Mac OS Linux port? Main factor? Yeah, I would say yeah, probably. That's probably the main factor. Mac OS development sucks. Linux development is better. But yeah, the reason why we're able to develop things so quickly for LaunchBox is largely because Microsoft's development tools kick everybody else's butt. And I'm an expert when it comes to Microsoft development tools, and so I can whip out stuff really, really quick. And I wouldn't be able to do that on Mac OS and Linux. That's not to say I'm also an Android developer, and I know Java really well, and I know C++ to a certain extent. So it's certainly possible to do the Linux thing. I'm not at all interested in doing Apple at all. I won't at this. I've made the decision that we won't be tackling Mac OS. It's just not feasible. And it wouldn't be beneficial to us. So there's that. But I would love to be on Linux. I really would. I'm just not sure that's going to happen anytime soon. And we're still getting trolls. Let's see. Oliver, LaunchBox is a lot easier than everything else out there, but yes, you will need to set things up. It's not just automatic completely. It's made to be as easy as possible. All right, don't see Nightbot on the YouTube chatter list. Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. I need to mod Nightbot probably. Hold on. Join channel. Modded. YouTube Live dashboard. Add remove moderators. Manage moderators. Okay. To the forum and press enter. There it is. All right. Save. All right. So yeah, you're right. The Nightbot didn't have access to the channel yet. I'm glad somebody mentioned that. So hopefully the YouTube spam will go down. We'll see. That would be nice. Should consider using Mono for Linux. I am aware of Mono for Linux, and actually I've used it several times. Unfortunately, WPF is what we use for Big Box, and there is no WPF in Mono for Linux, which is one of the biggest issues with that, unfortunately. Using ReSharper, don't you want to get the green check mark? Oh, yeah, I get you. Yeah, of course. I do. I'm anal about that, but not anal to the point where it disrupts my development, if that makes sense. Thank you, Grandmaster C. That's good. That's good to hear. So it looks like yeah, it's finally killing the YouTube comment garbage. Woo! Well, thank you. Well, mostly. Huh. Thank you guys for suggesting Nightbot. That helps. All right. Just curious. how this is going now that we blocked this stuff. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm just sitting here looking at the comments, seeing if we have destroyed these trolls. And from what I can tell, it's doing a pretty good job, which is good. That's definitely very good. So thank you, Nightbot. No, there it is. There it is. Yeah, whatever. All right. Moving on. So let's start off with a prayer here, because obviously we're gonna need it. Thank you, Mental. Yeah, I don't know about show. Yeah, that it still shows in Restream, and that is one of the issues. But you can cast your chat stream using Nightbot. Ah, okay. Ban all the special characters in Nightbot. How do I do that? Excess symbols. That's already enabled. Minimum number of symbols posted before Nightbot will punish the user for spamming. Maximum lifetime Nightbot will time out users for being punished for the spam filter. Why don't I like make it? Why don't we punish these people for like hours? $6,000 seconds. It's interesting that Twitch is like completely... They gave up on Twitch. I need to move on. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to get this better. All right. Anyways. How to fight spammers. Okay, let's pray, guys. And then let's get into some actual development here. Lord. Get rid of the trolls, Lord. Help us to get past this stuff. Help me not to be distracted by all that stuff going on. I pray that you would help us all to somehow manage to enjoy each other's company here despite all the troll activity. And I pray that you would help me to focus and get some good development done today. And help us all to support each other. And just have a good stream. And get some good stuff done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Copy that symbol. Add that to the filter. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that quick. Options. Options. How do I blacklist an entire... I don't know. I blacklist that as a word, but I'm not sure that's going to actually do anything. Anyways. I think it's just Jason doing it, trying to garner ratings. There you go. It's just me. It's all me. Okay, so let's get into this. So for anybody who isn't aware of what the wall view is, we'll go ahead and start this up. So ultimately, this is the wall view, and it's still early because it's not really acting exactly how I want it to act yet. So this is what we're going to be working on here first. Kind of wanted to experiment with presentation a little bit, but then also we need to work on the navigation, because right now there's no way to go up and down. If you go down, of course you get the index. And we have some issues like, you know, this gets ugly when we start jumping characters and stuff like that. So there's quite a bit to do yet with this, but this was the beginning of the wall view. First thing I wanted to try and dive into or experiment with, wanted to get folks' opinion on presentation here. One thing that is a question is whether we should actually rotate. And I'm trying to, I think to get rid of the rotation, actually I think I can just do this. And we'll see if that gets rid of the rotation. I wanted to show you guys what it's like to not have the rotation in there. And I'm curious what people's opinions are on the flat view versus the kind of 3D rotated view. So this is more of what it looks like without any any 3D rotation stuff going on in there. One of the weird things about this is because of the way the cover flow stuff worked previously, it zooms funny, which is another thing to look into, especially if we use the flat view. But All right, so thank you, Wade. Thank you, Oliver. That's awesome. I'm not sure where I was in the comments, so forgive me, guys, but thank you, Nosh. Blur that stuff. Need on a touchscreen, sure. Yeah, and Big Box could use better touchscreen support right now, too. You like flat a bit better, okay? Can it be an option? Yes, and it will be. I think the plan is to make it an option in the, and that's a good point. We should make it an option for the theme developers at least. Can we add a custom real 3D box via SlimDX through the plugin system so you could flip the box front/back? First off, that was on the poll, and it didn't get as many views as or as many votes as I would have expected. I was going to implement that myself, or try anyways. Yes, you can absolutely create a plugin to do that. There's no reason why you couldn't. That should all be there available for you. And I would love if somebody built a plugin for that. So yeah, I don't see any reason why somebody couldn't build a plugin to do that. WPF will already do that for you, and WPF uses DirectX behind the scenes. So yes, you can create a 3D anything in WPF with a plugin. Absolutely. Yeah, I basically need to write WPF for Linux. That's the thing. And the problem with that, of course, is at that point, it doesn't seem like that would be profitable, unfortunately. Although I would really, really love to be able to create our own little Linux distribution that you didn't have to pay for Windows or any of that stuff, and everything just worked. I would love that, and that is always in the back of my head. But unfortunately, I don't think that's necessarily all that feasible right now. Better audio on that keyboard. I have heard about the GPD Win too, and I'm excited about it. But and I'll probably pick one up, honestly. I haven't researched it too much though. I think it would look cool if you just left the wall flat and just changed the camera angle on the x-axis to like 45 degrees or something. Okay. Yeah, I can see what you're saying there. When does the raffle end? It ends on Friday morning. 8 o'clock 8 o'clock a.m. PST. Yeah, I'd love to have a LaunchBox OS, but based on Linux, of course. But unfortunately, that's not that feasible right now. Oh, great! So now we have spammers copying usernames. That's wonderful. What's the point of the wall? Is it just a new view? Yep, it's just a new view. That's it. You're not good at name duplication. That's funny. You idiot. You stupid idiot troll. You can't even type correctly. Sorry. All right. So, I had a feeling that people might like the flat view better, which is why I asked. But anyways, yeah, so the first thing I want to do is make that an option. As far as... So this was -20 before, and this is the only number we need to change. We have a variable called curve amount that comes directly from... So I'm going to say -1 times curve amount, and I'm not sure what curve amount is right now. If I take a look at the new view, which is under themed views, this new wall games view, on the flow control, curve amount is 0 right now, but I want to check like one of the other ones. So let's go to the wheel games view. The default curve amount is 4.5, and I'm not quite sure like what that number means, but I mean what the max and minimum values are, but there probably is not really a max value. So I guess we'll just put like 20 in here, and then basically this will be themable. And it'll use that curve amount to define how much rotation there is. So if we build it now, we should have our curve back. Yep. You're right though, guys. I like it better without that rotation. But that option will be in there now. So all we got to do to get rid of it at this point is go back to our view, which will be themable, of course, and we'll set the curve amount to 0, and that will go away. Let's test that real quick, and then we'll get back into... Yeah, okay. The other thing that's weird about this is it doesn't select the selected item is not set when you first load it up, and I think that's because I just copied the one from the cover flow. So we'll need to do something about that. There's also no title, so if we go to an item without an image, we don't get anything. So I mean, there's a lot of work to do on this yet. But we'll leave it as that for now. I think Nosh suggested changing the angle of the camera, which might be tricky. I'm not sure how we would do that. I know there's a way to do it. I don't know. I think that would be under. I'm not sure if I've opened that up. So that's going to be in like the flow control itself. That's in the WPF project workflow control. There it is. So we have our camera, perspective camera, the position, the up direction, look direction. Okay. Field of view, near plane distance. Of course, I'm not a 3D expert, guys, so what's the difference between up direction and look direction? I don't know. This must be... Let's just see what happens. I know that's going to mess like everything up. That's seriously going to mess everything up. But we can have that be an option. So it seems like maybe like Twitch is working properly, and we're not getting any spammers on Twitch, but we are on YouTube. Is that what's going on, guys? Let's take a vote, folks. Maybe we can just disable the YouTube comments, and everybody can join us on Twitch if they want to comment. What do you think? I did that, Neilk. I already did that. We're already working. Nightbot is already working on YouTube. I promise. All right, so I don't know. It seems like it's going all right now, but yeah, guys, switch to Twitch. So if you're on here and you want to be commenting, switch to Twitch. I hate to say that, but Twitch is apparently going much better. So. I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. So, anyways, I rebuilt, right, I think. And we changed the camera direction. So, yeah, see, now we don't have a wheel at all. That's odd, though. Oh, I know why that happened. Ah, cool. Look at that. All right. Yeah, that's pretty wicked, neat looking. I like that. So basically, that can be a setting. Dude, I love that. I really, really like that. What do you guys think? we just stumbled on a pretty cool thing here to me. You forgot to click your fingers when you said switch. When we started talking about going on Twitch, he stopped. Select Emu. Hit me up on Bitbucket or the forums with that error. That's interesting. I already have the error though. I know that because I get them all automatically. So I'm sure I'll get that addressed. But I'm gonna need more information on it. But I should have it all. With attention comes bad attention. Yes, it does. Thank you, Ninja. Yeah, it's Star Wars crawl style. I like it. You could make the angle a slider. Yeah, we will. We'll do something like that. Look is very Star Wars-y. Innovations are often mistakes. I'm curious. Yeah, I want to make it more and see what it feels like. Of course, there's only Car Wars scroller. Oh my goodness. Star ratings the default theme. That is actually on the poll, Stifilus. So yes, we will be getting that stuff in there, but it's we're not quite yet. Will you ever provide a dedicated controller wrapper that tries to keep controls consistent across emulators, albeit the more popular ones? I think yes. That's definitely something that would make sense to add. However, it's also something that is going to be tackled later on in the game, especially since not RetroArch. Rocket Launcher does that, Dave, this will be super easy to incorporate into the Eon Nox theme once it's released. So, I mean, you'll have exactly. I mean, it's just a matter of copying XAML. This was Nosh's idea to change the perspective like this, though. By the way. We actually have theme settings, but they're basically for the theme developers right now. But yes, I know that's a thing, and I know that we're going to need more options there. Yeah, I've played with WeFlow recently, the WeCoverFlow stuff. So I know what's there, and yeah, I agree. Some of them are really pretty. All right, so dang, I like that. But we need to make it an option because it's messing with the other views. So there's that. But I want to just play with this a little bit more first because I'm, excited about it. So this is just changing the look direction on the camera. Okay, so that's a little bit more Star Wars-y. That's too much, obviously. I don't think I'd want that much. But we will also put this in the theme, the theme options, so that you can actually tweak this directly in the theme settings. That's sweet. I could sit there and do that all day. It's fun. All right, so yeah, that's much better than rotating. I like that a lot. So anyways, we have to make this a setting on the flow control, first off. So bear with me here. It's going to be some development, but I think that will be important. So it's the look direction on the camera. And I know we already adjust something on the camera. We have this dot, well, and this is just directly on the flow control as a property, so this is not difficult to do. So if we go to camera Z position, we need a new dependency property. We're going to say public static read only dependency property camera, what was that, the Y angle? It must be XYZ. It has to be. Camera Y angle property. Camera Y angle type of. Now what is the type on that? I've got to figure that out. So just figure that out here first. This dot camera dot look direction dot Y, it's a double. Okay. Type of double. And then type of flow control. And then we just simply add our property, public double camera Y angle, get, return double, this dot get value, flow control dot camera Y angle property. And set this dot set value flow control dot camera Y angle property value. Okay. So now camera Y angle, we will feed that directly into the. By default, it'll be 0, which is good, because that's going to just be the default naturally. And what did I just do? Interesting. All right, and we just need to use that value. Camera Z position, where do we set it is the question. This guy right here. So we can say camera dot look direction equals new vector 3D. And the default value was 0, 0, -1. So we're going to say 0, and then this dot camera Y angle, and -1. Now in theory, that's all we need, I think. And then on the flow control, I'm going to leave that at 0, but that's going to change anyways. And now in our view, our wall view, there's another new property on the cover flow control called camera Y angle, and we can set it to 0.2. Now what's the issue here? Not recognized, not accessible. I think it's lying to me. Let's go ahead and rebuild. And we're done. And then it's fixed. Good. So we'll give it a shot, and we should have our nice, pretty angle there, but it shouldn't affect anything else. Everything else should be working. Remember how it was just, yeah, that wasn't there originally when we did this originally because it messed it up. But that should be good now. And we load up our list here, and we get our nice angle. Sweet. And that is now themable as well. So, and we can even, in theory, we can even do something like changing this to negative 0.2. And it should be angled the other way. And I could add properties for X and Z as well. Yeah, there it is. Sweet. So now that's themable at this point, which is fun. So we have rotation values, we have X angle. I kind of want to add properties for Y and Z as well, because we can, you know? Why not? Because that is going to provide a lot more flexibility when it comes to theming. So I'll go ahead and add that too. So let's go ahead and do that, the camera angle stuff. So first things first, we simply need a couple more of these properties. So camera X angle property and camera Z angle property. I could add these with, you know, the vector 3D all in one, but I want this to be as easy as possible to use, which is why I'm separating them out. Because it's people who aren't familiar with XAML might not know that you can do the comma thing. So might as well make it as easy as possible. So that's why I'm doing it this way. And then we're going to copy this as well. This is easy enough to do, so I figure even if I'm not going to use it in the default theme, I might as well add it so that it can be used elsewhere. Camera Z angle. And we got to switch these up. X and X and Z and Z. Okay, so now we have camera X angle, camera Z angle. And I just got to make use of them. I'm going to need to set the defaults. So on the camera, actually the flow control, by default it's 0 for X and -1 for Z. So I need to go in and set this dot camera Z angle equals -1, and the reason for that is that's the one that isn't defaulted to 0, because all these properties will automatically default to 0. So we just got to set the one that doesn't. So next we need to go to this reference. Nope, that was the wrong one. Oh, come on. I need camera Y angle. Yeah, camera Y angle. And we just have to use this dot camera X angle and this dot camera Z angle. Now in theory, everything should behave exactly as it did before, even with these changes, because I haven't changed anything, I haven't said anything specifically. So we need to confirm that here real quick. And then we can get into playing with the values. And so far everything looks good. Yeah, and we're still backwards on our Y perspective there. But I'm going to go ahead and in my wall games view now, we're going to add camera X angle equals 0.2. And I'm going to put this back to 0.2 as well instead of negative 0.2. And we'll see how that looks, just for kicks and giggles. Are we built? Yeah, we're built. Okay. So far, so good. Yeah, so we got some weirdness going on with the X angle. That makes sense because it's going to be off screen because we're moving the camera. Yeah. So I don't know. We might need a property. If for this stuff, we might need a property for changing the, I don't know, moving the camera or something like that. And of course, the neat thing about all this stuff is all these new properties are going to be accessible for all the different flow control types. So we have like the cover flow, we have the wheels, all that stuff. These will be options for all of that stuff, not just the wall view here. So anyways, I don't want to dive too much into this though. I don't like this the way this looks anyways, so I think we'll probably just stick with Y. I'm curious what happens though if we change Z. That might be interesting. I'm just curious what that's going to look like. So for now I'm going to set Y and X to 0 and we'll try Z. Camera Z angle equals 0.2. Actually it was -1 before. So if I set that to -0.8, what do we get? Interesting. It didn't really change anything. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that works. Because my brain doesn't think in 3D very well, I guess. Oh, whatever. Let's try one more thing. Let's try making it 0.2. Make it way off and see if we can tell what it's doing. Thank you, Scott, by the way. I know I'm way behind on the comments, guys, so forgive me on that. But, yeah, so now we don't see anything. So obviously the angle is working. I just don't know how to really use it. So for right now, I'm just going to leave that property off of here. I'm going to take off camera X angle as well, and we'll go back to our 0.2 that looks so nice. So, we got that stuff added. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff to do yet. What do we do next? Let's see. I don't like how the zoom, depending on where you are, depending on where you are in relation to the camera, it zooms differently. I don't like that so much. I would rather do something different, but I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do there. I do really like that perspective though. That angle is a winner. Yes, it is. Thank you. Yeah, the perceived zoom is probably based on the location of the camera. Exactly. You're exactly right about that, Dark. And that makes it difficult to get this right, is what I've noticed. So like one thing that's interesting about this is most like flat box views, for example, the stuff in LaunchBox, it's not 3D, it's just flat. And so this is made more difficult, especially when it comes to zooming them in, by the fact that we're doing this in 3D. So even though the boxes aren't 3D, it's still a 3D perspective completely. This is a 3D scene, which makes this tricky, specifically with regards to zooming in. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do about that. The biggest issue with this right now, and it's probably something I should tackle, although I'm not looking forward to it because it's not going to be easy, but you'll notice everything just stays centered, right? The selected boxes are always in the middle of the screen, which I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Is that good? Is that bad? I definitely need to add up and down navigation, which isn't in there right now. But that's not difficult to do. What's tricky, though, is going to be allowing you to navigate up and down without scrolling the screen. I'm not sure that's necessary, though, honestly. I don't know that that's a big deal. If we do page up and page down, that does work pretty well, although it will get a little bit behind. Yeah, can you jump up and down as well? Yeah, that's Move from left to right and the boxes went off screen. It looked messy. A heavy medium might be slightly angling the camera at the selected box, but that also might be a bit too crazy. Interesting. That would be cool, though. It'd be fun to experiment with. This stuff is fun. The 3D stuff is really, really fun. And honestly, guys, I'm not that... I'm not that knowledgeable when it comes to 3D programming, but thankfully WPF makes it fairly easy. I'm just playing now. Cool. Echo Shard. Echo Shard. I think Echo Shard is Chris. Yeah, Echo Shard is Chris, is the awesome VR guy who's done the VR stuff for us. And yeah, you should probably do that, my friend. I could use a crash course in that stuff for real. And I mean, I've played with that stuff a lot over the years, but so I mean, I know my X, Y, and Z and that kind of stuff. But when it comes to math, it's a little bit more difficult. Vulcan training. Meet me in VR. I still need to meet you in VR, and I will. I promise. We will get there. Can it be used for a 2 tall, 4 wide grid that scrolls left and right? Good question. I think eventually we should allow that all that customization, but right now it's not there quite yet. It's still very early, so we'll see. We'll see how that works out. I think we'll get there. I hope so. But I need to allow up and down navigation here first. Is the number of displayed games fixed or dynamic based on available space and camera visible count, etc.? So the way the right now it's fixed at displaying 5 games across. Okay, and we could add a property to change that. But if you did change that, you would need to change the camera perspective and all that kind of stuff to fit more. The zoom level is what you'd have to change. Right now, it will automatically zoom to the right spot to fit everything based on the resolution. So it's going to fit, it's going to zoom to the right spot so it'll fit 5 boxes on the screen, basically, is the gist. And if you changed the number of boxes across, you would have to change the camera to make it work properly. Can you hover over the box and play a video? Yeah, so details, right? Somebody could build a custom theme to do exactly that, as is. But right now, it's very rudimentary. There's no details in this view at all. And so that was another thing I was thinking about adding. I do got to go pee here real quick, guys. I'm sorry about that. So let me do that, and I'll be right back. And we'll get into up and down navigation because we definitely need some up and down navigation, and that's probably the most important thing. So, but something to think about, guys. I'm sorry if I missed comments because I know I've been missing a lot of comments on this stream. But something to think about is whether it matters I guess we'll have to see it first, but whether it matters, whether you can actually go up and down and select different boxes without it scrolling. I'm not sure about that. I'm probably being confusing, but I'll be right back. All right. All right, so up and down navigation, let's get into that. And I think it's going to be fairly simple. And that's actually going to be in the wall games view model. And in here, we have on up and on down. And right now, we're using the index. And I'm not quite sure what we're going to do about the index. The alphabetical index, with the up-down navigation. So that's another thing. We might need to add a dedicated key for the index. We need that. We need options for that anyways. But for now, let's just override it and see what we get. What we're going to do on up, we basically, so on left and on right, we're checking to see if, oh, this is for attract mode, which we don't need an on up and on down. We're limiting the number of moves that you can do per second. And setting selected index. Oh, this is index active. And then we do it with the flow control. Well, we're gonna have to jump around a little bit with this flow control. So that's gonna be interesting a little bit. I'm actually going to, I gotta fix this because that's driving me nuts. I think I'm just gonna copy everything we got in here for right now, and we'll hack at it and paste that in here. Now on up, first off, we don't care about attract mode. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of that. And I'm not sure what the point of this stuff is. Why does that even matter? I think that might only be for track mode, so I'm going to get rid of that as well for now. Set selector directions. This is backwards, so that's correct. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the index active stuff. Bool success. Sure. So this is fine, exactly as it is right now for on up, except we need to jump 5 instead of just jumping 1. So flow control.goToPrevious, we might need a new method. Like jump or something. So public image info jump int count. Because we don't have anything like that right now. Obviously, go to next page we have, but that's different, and that should be different. So I'm going to copy this guy. So cover factory is not equal null, endless, and this dot index equals 0. Interesting. Index. Not endless. Why am I... Okay, wait a minute. We're not endless in this one. At least we aren't right now. The cover factory is not going to be null. But why if index equals 0? But basically, I guess we're doing something different if it's 0. Instead of that, we want, so int new index equals this dot index plus count. Okay, so if new index, we have to check which direction we're going, though. If new index is less than 0, less than or equal to 0, and then I guess we'll go ahead and do that. We still need to deal with what if it's greater. And we're going to say update index, new index. Factory.endless and new index is greater than this dot image list dot keys dot count minus 1. Image list. I'm not sure why I'm doing that, though. I guess we can set... Yeah, but this... Okay, so this is weird. I don't understand why I did all this code. For now, I'm just going to comment this out, because it doesn't really make sense. We'll find out why I did that. I guess it'll probably error out, but we're gonna give this a shot. So we're gonna call jump. This is on up, so I'm gonna call dot jump -5 instead, and I'm gonna build, and we'll see what happens. Give it a run. Okay. Now if we go up, yeah, it's going way too quick. That's interesting. I lost my boxes. So I think I know why that is. go ahead and back out. So you notice the one in the center is selected, and it is scrolling up, but I think the issue is just that it will scroll past the end, and since it's not endless, that doesn't work. So that's why we needed the other stuff. But what I didn't understand about this is, why am I using this particular logic when I should just be calling update index? I don't get that. But so anyways, first off, what I'm going to say, we're just going to rewrite this and see what happens. If this.coverFactory is not equal to null, and not this.coverFactory.endless, and new index is less than or equal to 0, then I'm going to say this.update index 0, right? Return this.update index 0. Then if this.coverFactory is not equal to null and not this.coverFactory.endless, and new index is greater than this.imageList.keys.count -1, then return this.update index this.imageList.keys.count -1. I think that is basically what we need here. All right. So now if we, okay, so it's getting behind still, which is interesting. It's not catching up quick enough because I'm not delaying it, am I? It's just doing it as quick as it possibly can, which is not what we want. Well, I'm going to have to put a delay in there. But you'll notice it did stop at the top, which is good. Now we didn't do, oh, and now it won't get rid of the index. Okay, so I got to fix that. But at least, I mean, we have the mechanism here working, which is good. So back to the wall games view model. If we take a look at on left, what is the point of this? Obviously, this isn't even being used. So something is slowing it down for the left. Yeah, I don't understand how that's working. We'll come back to that though. Let's get on down actually working. It's going to be the same thing. You know what though? Well, yeah, whatever. It's fine. And we're gonna set this to 5. Obviously, that 5 should not be hard coded. I'm gonna need to do something about that. But at least we should be able to go up and down now. All right, so we're up at the top. And yes, we can go down. But I still can't. It's still going too quick. I got to figure that out. But I want to make sure it stops at the end. Should be close. There it is. Then we can go back up to the top. Funny thing is, page up and page down are working properly where they don't go too fast. Although it might not be jumping enough of them. It's interesting that apparently there's more of a gap on the bottom than there is at the top, which is why it works better to go the other way and they don't pop in as much. So we might need to do something about that. So slowing down on up and on down, what I don't understand is why on left is being slowed down, but on right isn't. I don't see that code. Last left time. Let's go to there and find all the usages of that. That's it. This is it. Oh, if we're not in attract mode. It's not that if we're in attract mode, it's if we're not in attract mode. So this is the line I'm looking for. I didn't read it right. So all I got to do is this, and we need a new last up and last down time. And we'll go back here, and we're going to change this to last up time. And then we have to set it as well. That's important. And then do the same thing for down, and we'll be all set on the speed stuff there. Surprised I misread that, but I'm glad we figured it out. So last down time. All right, and then we have the index to deal with. That's better. Here we are. And it stops really nice on the top there. And we can go all the way down to the bottom. And it stops nice and smooth on the bottom. Cool. All right. I want to just do that over here as well, though, and see how that plays out. There we are. Beautiful. Interestingly, we are getting a little bit of pop-in up there now. So basically that has to do with how many boxes are displayed on the screen at once. I might need to increase that number, but the more I increase that number, the more performance issues we're going to see. So that's another thing. I haven't done a lot of testing to see how performant this view is on lower end hardware. But hopefully it's not bad. I'm not sure. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased. I especially that Nosh's idea to change the camera perspective. That was amazing. I'm really, really happy with that. So we have, well, I mean, at this point, okay. So now, time for discussion, guys. What do we do next? At this point, there's a number of things we could do. Obviously, this is functional now. I'm pretty happy with it. There's a couple of things that are a problem. Well, one is that the first one is the details are not being loaded up. So I need to fix that. Why don't I do that here first? But then beyond that, we're going to need, we have the issue where you can't get at the index right now. And the index actually provides a few other issues. Jumping around does not look the best, which I need to do something about. I still don't like the way things zoom in that much. I don't necessarily like the way things are selected. So we could work on that. We could work on trying to add in some details. Maybe at least the title in the corner, you know, stuff like that. I'm not sure if that's going to look good, though. I like the simplicity of this at the same time. I'm thinking about adding another view that includes some details that are always visible, you know, stuff like that. Right now, of course, you can just go into the game details and back out. That does work fine. It's kind of hard to tell what's selected sometimes. Highlight and selection details, sure. How's the spam, guys? I'm not seeing a whole lot of spam coming through, but I'm not checking the actual comments either. I mean, I'm not checking the actual stream comments. Dave. I feel like I could play with this all day long. I just kind of want to sit here and play with it. It's funny. All right. So first thing I need to fix is the fact that the selection is not... Troll got put to bed, I guess. Yes, the second wall view would be great. Plan to add a sidebar with details and a video for this view in Critical Zone. But I can say why people would prefer the current simple solution. Cool, Sid. Yeah. So yeah, we should definitely add a second view here. Can you post a JPEG for an idea? Probably. Yeah, that'll work. That's fine, Mental. I'm not sure if I can... I think I can click the link. This probably won't show it on stream at first. All right. So we have to figure out why the first one isn't getting selected. Because that's the biggest issue right now. And here we are. Sorry I brought it up, guys. That was stupid. I know I never did close out the YouTube chat. I'm still torn on that. I don't really want to, honestly. Yeah, I thought about the blue outline as well. But I don't know. I'm not sure. All right, so I'm checking this idea. Ah, I see what you're saying. I kind of like that, actually. Mental. That might be, I mean, that's going to be really tricky. It's going to be really tricky to do. And it's going to be more of a performance issue because everything's got to move smoothly to new spots. And it's going to be, so I'm not sure. But I do like that concept. It might be worth experimenting with. We might do that here in a little bit. We'll see. That's a cool idea. I can show this. So he's saying we should, because everything is going to have to be moved around with this perspective. So there's going to be a lot more moving going on, and there might be some weird oddities with things overlapping and all kinds of stuff like that that might be a problem. But I like this concept. So I don't know. I'm not sure. But that would be really tricky to pull off, I think. That's something to think about and experiment with, maybe. All right, but first off, I've got to figure out how to get the initial selection working when you first load it up, because right now it's not. And I know the weird thing is the cover flow, I based this off of the cover flow view. And the cover flow view works. That's not an issue. I'm not sure why we had that problem with this. Unless I don't know. I'm not sure. Just cleaning up some code here. All right, so I mean, I can always do it using a new method, but it would be nice to find whatever method was working before I just dive in here with a brand new method to do something. Obviously, when we call populate games, right? In populate games, just adds everything to the flow control. We have nothing specific to we say this dot selected game equals first game, but we already do that here as well. Oh, wait a second. This could be why. Just out of curiosity, though, is the cover flow view actually working properly for this? I better make sure of that. So if we switch up the view, there's the cover flow view. You notice how there is no background? Yeah. Wow, it's being slow right now. The heck. Anyways, apparently this is an issue with the cover flow view as well, and I just never realized that. So no wonder, you know. Whoops. And I have an idea why. When we set our selected, no, we need to. So obviously the issue is just that we need to call. The first time we run it, we need to call the timer elapsed. Selection change timer elapsed. This isn't getting called correctly. So I think all I got to do, I hope all I got to do, is on populate games. We'll just call selection change timer elapsed. This all right. That doesn't matter. No, actually I can just feed in null. Duh. And so if I will copy that to the wall model as well, and in populate games, let's put that down there. Hopefully that'll do it. I'm surprised I never noticed that was an issue in the other view. There it is. So we get our background now. That's what we want. Okay. Obviously that view wasn't affected, which is good. We got that weirdness going on. That happens when we switch views sometimes. We have an issue where certain images are not populating properly, so I need to do something about that. It's been an issue for way too long. It has to do with images being in use, and that's causing problems. But I need to back out here. I'm gonna go back in, and we should have our background. There it is. Alright, so that's solved. The next thing is maybe the selection stuff was probably the next important thing to tackle. What we're going to do for selection, since I don't like the whole zooming method. Although I do like it zooming, I just think we kind of need something else too, maybe? I'm not sure. We were going to try... who gave me that image? I'm sorry, guys. We're going to try moving things around, although I'm not sure that's feasible. That would be pretty tricky. Oh yeah, we were going to look at increasing the number of items as well. And the number of items are defined right now. Where are they defined? I think it's in the cover flow wall cover factory. Nope, apparently not. It's not here either. Where is that defined? Is that it's in the view. I think it's in the themed view. So themed views, wall games view, visible count is 40. If we increase that, that should help with the pop-in, but it might make things slower. The thing is, 40 is awfully big. So how many are really on display, on screen? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4. So there's only 20 that are really displayed on screen. So when we scroll down, the problem is when we change the angle, you see more of the top than you see the bottom. So you kind of need more of a gap, and that's tricky, and I don't know how to offset that. But one thing I'm curious about, this is going to screw it up, but I want to see if performance is a whole lot better if we decrease the number there. And obviously, this is going to make the pop-in a lot worse right now. But I want to see how performance is affected by that change, because I'm curious. So now it's not even going to complete the screen, and you're going to see a bunch of stuff pop in, and it's ugly. And yeah, maybe the performance is a little better. I'm not sure. I can't really tell very well. But you see them all pop in, so obviously that's not something we can leave. I was going to try and set this to 45, and we'll see how things are. Doesn't seem to be too much different, and now we're not getting the pop in. But I am curious how this is going to affect performance on lower end systems. I should try playing with this view on the GPD Win and see how usable it is. That's probably what I should do to test performance-wise. Because I'm sure, I mean, I haven't done anything to try and make this more performant, so I'm sure there's stuff that can be done. But anyways, selections is really what I feel like I need to deal with next. What do we do, guys, for selections? The concept of using the blue outline, but I'm not a huge fan of that, honestly. So, kind of need some ideas. Okay, so you like the selection, Mr. Jones. Can you add a style dictionary so we can style the selected items ourselves? I got some ideas. Yeah. Yeah, we ought to be able to do that. Although it's a little bit more tricky because we're not using style dictionaries on these right now because of the 3D view. They're just literally just images, and we haven't done anything to them. So we're not styling anything on them right now. But I'm with you. We got to figure something out with that. Don't think a glow. Very slight transparency on everything but the selected game. That's one thing I thought about as well. It's a tilt motion so people will notice it a bit more. Subtle glow effect around the selected image. A generic box PNG with a cutout for the cover, then on selected overlay the box for each specific platform. Sure, that would be cool. On your list of wants. That makes sense, Nosh. And yeah, the wheels, basically anything that uses the cover flow control right now I've got to figure out how to use an element that is processed instead of just the image. I'm sure there's a way to do that. .3D boxes like WeFlow, it's not too complicated, and we talked about that earlier. Somebody could even build a plugin to do that. It was on the poll recently and didn't get as many votes as I would have expected it to, so we haven't focused on it. But yes, I agree. I would love to have that. So, Herm. What do we try here? What do we try and knock out first? There's something that fades the non-selected games. Sure. Now, I know that's already been done by theme developers, but I never looked into how they did it. So maybe I should do that. How do you do that, Sid? I think you've done that before, right? If we go into... well, let's check it out in Big Box here first. Would it be possible to use shaders on box art? The shaders would have to work with WPF. I'm not sure. That would be something to look into. It would be really neat, but we would need our own implementation of shaders first, probably. The other thing I wanted to check while I'm in here, what about box art that is a little bit differently shaped? So like SNES. Hopefully that doesn't... Yeah, see? They overlap. That's something I hadn't thought about. So that could be better handled, obviously. I mean, that's not horrible, but certainly could be better. Looked into that in City Hunter. It was done with opacity mask, I believe. Okay, opacity mask where? I should look at the code. 2 layers of fades behind and above the wheel. Ah. Which probably makes things... So I'm not going to be able to do that with the box view, likely. So we're going to have to figure out how to fade. Which, I mean, it can be done in the image itself, but then we'd have to... That's going to affect the thumbnail and stuff. Set the light source to kind of spotlight to the selected title. That would be kind of neat. I kind of like that. That'd be fun to play with. I'm not sure if we have the complicated lighting going on though, or what that would cause. Let's take a look at the cover flow. I really like that idea. Come to think of it. So, or you thought of it. I didn't think of it. So cover flow control is over here, and we have directional light. Okay. Why do we have this in there two times, I mean? Oh, there's two different directions. So now I'm curious about what the heck that's doing. What if I take that out? Odd. Who knows? Maybe I am. So, do you guys see any differences? Because I don't. My cache isn't populated here. But yeah, I'm not seeing any light differences. So you guys might be right. Interesting that that was in there. What's the point? If I switch wheel looks the same to me. Everything looks the same. God, I swear this got worse with the latest .NET update. Oh, look. Okay, you see the black on the left? So apparently that's necessary for cover flow for some reason. But only in 3D. Interesting. It's populating images, that's why it's so slow. But apparently that light source was important. I knew it had to be important somehow or other. But, so basically it's just pointed in both directions. Power of undo, yeah. Scale boxes. A round light on selected game, yeah. And that is what I was thinking too, but at the same time, I'm not very knowledgeable with 3D lights. So, that's going to be a challenge. But it's worth experimenting, why not? We're using directional light. I mean, what kind of lights are there? Directional light seems to be the right way to do it. But why are we using directional lights instead of just a single ambient light? So we have a spotlight in there. So maybe we can try a spotlight and see what happens. We're probably going to need to tweak this based on what we're doing. But I still don't know why we're not just using a simple ambient light for this stuff. Because you would think that would be quicker. Is that all I need? So what happens if we get rid of these lights and we just use the simple ambient light? We'll see what happens. Spotlights or pixel lights and use more performance. Sure. So the ambient light is working great for the wheels. Clearly. They might actually be brighter though. Interestingly. Yeah, it's a lot brighter. Obviously. It's still populating my cache images. I should probably go back to Genesis. Yeah, and the shadows look kind of funky. Or, I mean, the reflections look kind of funky that way. Let's go back to Genesis since the images have all been populated. There it is. You know what, though? It does seem more performant. Maybe. I can't tell. So we might have just discovered a fix for performance issues. Although now it's getting jerky again. Interesting, though. Let's go to our new view. And we got that stupid issue again. But obviously that's looking fine. But I'm pretty sure things are brighter, actually. So one thing that's clear. Reduce the ambient light by 15%. Sure. Yeah, we could have brightness as an option for this stuff. Although if you wanted general brightness for everything, we'd need to do something different. Yeah, ambient light is just about lighting everything to the exact same level. Let's set the contrast way too high. Okay, so what options do we have here? We don't have a whole lot. So we would need to set a particular value in here. So if we did what do I do? Can I do this? And opacity. I think the first two are opacity. That's true. It's interesting though that Yeah. I'm surprised there's been a light system going on the entire time and I didn't even notice it. It's crazy. That's looking a little bit more similar to what we were used to before. I'm not necessarily seeing a bunch of performance improvements by changing the light source like this to be an ambient light. But one thing that is clear is we're going to need to tweak these light sources depending on the type of display for the flow controls. So that's something I definitely need to do here. Should I use that instead of opacity, Echo Shard? I'll try it. Why not? Yeah, that's a little too dark. But it's interesting to know that that works, so I don't have to use the opacity stuff. I'm not sure if there's a difference there, though. I haven't figured that out. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to what I had, but now, I mean, we might as well play with the lights here a little bit. So instead of this, why don't we try doing a spotlight? The spotlight's going to be tricky, though. I'll just do white for now. We have direction. Yeah, look at this. Inner cone angle, outer cone angle, position, quadratic attenuation, range, transform. So I don't know what I'm doing here, but we'll see. If we use the same directions we had before, if we try this, what are we going to get here? Learn all about the fancy lights. Opacity, opacity. That's awesome, Camel. Okay, so sure. So the spotlight's in the wrong spot because we got nothing right now there. This is different because it's not updating it for that view. Neat. So it did kind of work, and that's interesting. So we would need an ambient light and then the spotlight as well, probably. And the spotlight's going to have to change depending on what's selected, which is going to be tricky. But that might be pretty cool. Huh. Okay, so let's add in a so if we let's just copy this guy. Nope, not that. I need this guy, the ambient light. And we're gonna, I'm just gonna make this, push it all the way down to maybe 6. We'll see what that looks like. Give it a shot. Call it Retro Spotlight. Thank you, Graham. We're experimenting right now, Charco, with lights, with lighting. Okay, so why... Huh. What happened? How did we... Well, obviously this thing, everything is too well lit up right now. I'm not sure why that is. Let's go back to the other method. Let's try... let's just go down to like DDD, DDD. Thank you, Neil. Yeah, we like the Star Wars thing going on here. I think everything's too bright, and so we're still not seeing the spotlight. Unless I messed it up. Let's just go way down. Or maybe the spotlight needs to be on top? I don't know. Yeah. Well, obviously, so everything is much darker now here, of course. That's to be expected. There we go. So now we can sort of see. We have the spotlight is getting overwritten by the... It's interesting that, oh, it's the... Yeah, the reason why it looks funny is because of the zooming. The zooming messes with the spotlight right now. That's kind of cool looking, though. I gotta admit. The biggest issue with the spotlight is that we're going to have to move it depending on what is selected, which is going to be tricky. Yeah, it's of course possible. My biggest concern about the light isn't animated right now. So if you jump the light around, it might be a problem. I'm not sure. Fixed spotlight, but a separate highlight on the selected item. That might work. Yeah. So we adjusted the spotlight. This is where it's going to get tricky, is figuring out how to tweak this spotlight. I'm not sure. The Metal Gear sound. We're going to need to make the obviously we got to make the lights be modifiable depending on the current type of display, whether we're using the wall or the wheel or the cover flow, all that stuff, which isn't that hard to do. But I'll probably do that later. It's more fun to experiment on the stream here. Don't have a whole lot longer on the stream, but we got a few minutes yet. But so maybe we should start tweaking the spotlight and see what we can figure out there. Set surface to glass for box art. Ah, sure. I'm sure there's a way to do that, but I'd have to look into it. I'm not sure how to do that. Performance impact and having several lights off and switching between them. Probably not too much, but yes, of course, there's always performance differences. But the thing is, my concern again is gradually moving lights or gradually turning them on and off. Because if we just switch it, get it, then it's going to look stupid, I am afraid. Take it easy, Sid. So this is obviously X, Y, and Z. Or no, is it? This is direction, so... I'm wondering if... What does this mean? It has to be X, Y, and Z. Yeah, because this is direction. I'm not that familiar with vectors. Let's just see what happens. What if I put that to 4? I should just look up direction on MSDN and see what it is and research it a little bit. That's what I should do, so I can understand it. I did the click when I said switch. Yes, I did. Didn't seem to change a whole lot from what I can tell. Although it doesn't affect the zoom as much now. You notice how like the light isn't immediately affected though? That kind of sucks. Wonder why that is. It kind of pops in funny, which I don't like very much. I was hoping for it not to do that. But I don't know why it's doing that. Huh. So you're the only mod remaining. Good luck, Neil. I don't know. I need to figure that out. So if we need to look up direction on Spotlight. The Spotlight class. Direction. It's a vector 3D. Spotlight is used to light the scene. The inner cone angle and outer cone angle are used to control the size of the light cone created by the spotlight. The direction and position properties determine where the spotlight is pointing in the scene. In this example, the position of the spotlight is set so that the spotlight is only illuminating the upper right-hand corner of the 3D object. So vector 3D. Yeah, it's X, Y, and Z. Take the box position minus spotlight position. Can't you just apply spotlight to the same logic that enlarges a selected box? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know. Spotlight. So this was originally 1. So X, Y, and Z. Okay. How do you use X, Y, and Z to apply direction? It doesn't make sense to me. I guess it's the... I don't know. That's what I don't understand. See, I'm not a 3D guy. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's good for me to understand the lights, and the other thing is, I definitely need to. I don't want to get away from the lights. I just read Nosh's comment here. I don't want to get away from the lights completely, because we definitely need the ability to change the lights depending on what view we're using, if only for performance reasons. Because obviously, using an ambient light is going to be much more performant than using directional lights and all that stuff. So I don't want to give up on the lights completely, but you're right. I probably shouldn't spend too long on the light stuff here. I'll be experimenting more with this stuff later today, though. We are almost at the end of the stream, so I don't want to get into too much more stuff here on the stream that I can't cut off. So I'm just kind of playing right now. But yeah, I agree, Nosh. I'm with you. We definitely need the ability to style the selected items in the wheels and all that stuff. But that will be a significant undertaking, so not quite sure. Mental says it's a square with sides of 4 units in length, colored with a blue brush. What? Colored with a blue brush. Where are you getting blue brush? I'm confused. Wow, that's awesome though. So is this... So basically the spot, this is defining the length of the spotlight in all directions? Is that what it is? Because we have position and we have direction. Position is where you are in 3D space, and then direction is where you're pointing, of course. But like we have the angle, and then we have the length. So what is it? Is it angle or length or both? That's what I don't... It has to be angle. Because we also have another property for range. But heck, I don't know. I'm going to have to read up on this stuff is what I'm going to have to do before I can get this stuff really truly right. But my biggest concern with the lighting is that I might not end up going this route, and the reason for that is because the lighting wasn't smooth, and that's my concern. Is when we load this up, I don't like how the lights are jerking, and I'm not sure if there's a way to get around that or not. Because when we do this, you'll notice as I scroll, well, now it's behaving better from what I can tell. Okay, so you see it more like this. You see how the lights, it seems like the lights take time to catch up? I don't like that because I feel like that breaks the immersion. So I'm not quite sure what to do about that in particular. Although it's really neat to have the light effects. It really is. So yeah. I don't know. I think I am going to wrap this up though, guys, and I'll do some research later today. However, I should probably... I'm probably going to get away from the light stuff for now and look into some other stuff with this particular view. And one of my main goals this afternoon will be catching up on the forums because I haven't... I've got a bunch of people that I haven't responded to and like a million different posts to read and a bunch of stuff like that. So hopefully I'll have a beta out for you guys later today with the changes for this view. At least what we've got so far, if not tomorrow. But that's the plan, guys. Thank you everybody for all the feedback. We got some cool stuff done. Nosh's recommendation to change the camera angle, I love that so much. So good stuff, folks. Good stuff. You weren't too much mental. Don't worry about it. Thank you, Stifilus. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Thanks for everybody who helped out with the stupid trolls. Or the stupid troll. Seems like it's just one idiot, maybe. But yeah, take it easy, folks. And I will see you guys on Wednesday morning at 9:30 a.m. PST. Have a great couple days.